In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable build-ups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
Him putting out a tweet, supporting a film with anti-Semitic tropes and stuff like that was inexcusable, it was insensitive, it was juvenile, it was stupid. The Jewish community gets to define what is anti-Semitic. The ridiculous theories that people try to throw out there, insinuations that the Holocaust didn't exist, that Adolf Hitler is somebody to be celebrated.
It is irresponsible, even if you have curiosity, it is irresponsible to amplify messages from Hitler ever on any, on any, and that's not, I just want to make that clear. And you didn't allude to that.
I'm not a divisive person when it comes to religion. I embrace all walks of life. You see it on all my platforms. I talk to all races, all cultures, all religions, and my response would be, it's not about educating yourself on what Semitism is and what anti-Semitism is. It's really about learning the root words of where these come from and understanding that this is an African heritage that is also belonging to the people. Africa is in it, whether we want to dismiss it or not.
I feel that Kyrie Irving ruined the franchise.
Do you think that Kyrie is worth all of this drama?
No, he's not. He's not worth it at all. A matter of fact, let me say this straight up and down. I think Kyrie Irving should retire.
I'm expecting the NBPA to appeal the suspension from Brooklyn, the terms, etc., that went into his return, the terms for his return. They seem like a lot, and a lot of players express discomfort with those terms. Okay. Tim, good morning. Thank you for being with us. I'll get to you in just a second. Stephen A., your thoughts on this potential appeal?
I 1,000% agree with Jalen Brown. I stand with him.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And I know that's saying a lot because we know how critical I can be and have been of Kyrie Irving. But this is excessive. The fact of the matter is that right now you're engaging in emasculation based on the reports about how the Nets have a checklist of things that they need Kyrie Irving to do.
Listen, come here. Shut your stupid ass up. Say that, folks. What is your dumb ass say it?
Every day of my life, I approach it with a state of empathy, right? Regardless of what color, what creed, what race you are, I look at people as human beings. I think that's important. But life is always about taking a stand and holding principles. So I want to explain what I feel like my stance is as a black male in this world, okay? And conversations that I've had with my brothers and sisters in the black community. And I want you guys to empathize with it and hear me on it. So when I hear what Kyrie Irving has to go through in order to be reinstated, I'm appalled. I'm appalled. And let me give you examples of how I feel like we don't have the same energy and hold other people who have dealt with racial tropes accountable. So when Sarah Silverman does blackface, or when Don Imus says nappy-headed hose, or when Howard Stern calls somebody the N-word in the skit, or when Brett Favre takes money from the state of Mississippi, we don't ask them to get sensitivity training. We don't ask them to donate $500,000. We don't ask them to meet with the Black National Caucus. They apologize, and then you know what? The rest of the world moves on. But what I feel like is happening here, and that's how in the black community, like we've been told That's how the process works, right? Think about that, Bert. That's how the process works. Oh, somebody does a blackface. Oh, it was a misunderstanding. We got it. Okay. Is that person really racist? Probably not. Was it ignorant? Probably so. Okay, we understand it. We move forward. We don't like it. We would love to hold them accountable. But society and having a lot of black people in positions of power, we don't have the governability to do that. But what we feel like happens with Kyrie is even after an apology, it's not enough. We feel like there needs to be more. And a lot of people I've spoken to over the last couple of days talk about this thing. Older mentors of mine talk about buck breaking. So we talk about tropes. This is something that we feel like in the black community that happened way back in the day, where if there was a slave that was defiant, right, he got broken in front of everybody in order to show that he was not in a position of power. And that at the end of the day, he had to do what he was told to do because that's what was mandated of him. And there's a bigger situation going on. What's happening with Kyrie Irving? If the Nets don't want him to be there, just say you don't want him to be there. But we should hold everybody accountable, even owners of teams accountable, with things that are happening in other countries, i.e. China and Uyghurs and the Muslim genocide that is occurring, that we hear Enes Kanter talk about. But we don't keep the same energy for everybody. We pick and choose what conversational points we want to make more polarizing. And I might lose my job. I might lose deal opportunities in the future for speaking out about even the platforms that continue to promote and profit a movie that is considered anti-Semitic to billions of people. They don't have to be accountable. Who is accountable? But we're going to put everything on the shoulders of Kyrie Irving, who, even though he said, I cannot be anti-Semitic because if I know where I came from, stating that he's one of the 4 lost tribes. He's saying that blacks and Jews come from the same entity, the same thing. But we don't want to understand nuance. We want to be triggered by words, and we like fire, and we like things that are, going viral on social media, and everybody has some kind of hot take, and we're calling people idiots, and we're calling people names because that's what we do. We just destroy each other. I ain't gonna destroy each other, man. I'm not gonna do that. Is Kyrie Irving anti-Semitic? Hell no. Could he have gone about it maybe a different way? That's what I would have advised him to do. But I'm not going to let you guys sit out here and make this dude out to be like he is a villain, like he is a bad person. He is looking to explore his heritage. Now, you can crucify me if you want. I don't give a damn anymore. It's time for people to start speaking out with nuance and speaking out on the principles they stand for. That's all I'll say.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Stay Locked In podcast. If you somehow stumbled upon this video, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and notification button down below for more content. I got a crazy goal of about 10,000 subscribers. If you could help me manifest my goal into reality, I would really appreciate it. With that being said, let's go ahead. Let's get right into this video. Let's go ahead and lock the in. All right? So, boom. All right, let's get right into this video. Finally, we have players and analysts stepping up to the plate and actually standing up and speaking up for Kyrie. What they feel is unjust, because I agree. I believe Kyrie is getting the short end of the stick. I think he's getting railroaded, and I think it's something has to be said and done. Shout out to Jalen Brown, the vice president of the NBAPA, or the NBPA, excuse me. I believe Jaylen Brown needs to become the president at this point. For him to actually stick his neck out there when nobody else was doing it or willing to do it, and when people were publicly condemning Kyrie, i.e. Shaq, LeBron, Charles Barkley, Shannon Sharp, all of these guys. For him to come out there and stick his neck out there for Kyrie says a lot about him and his character, man. Shout out to Jaylen Brown for this. You know, he's doing this even when the president came out and condemned him. CJ McCollum came out and said, we don't stand with that. We don't really stand with Kyrie, and didn't say anything. So shout out to Jaylen Brown, man. We got to get a slow clap for Jaylen Brown, for real. Shout out to Jaylen Brown. He came out and he expressed his discomfort. I want to get his statement correct. I believe he said, I don't believe Kyrie is anti-Semitic. I don't think people in our governing bodies think he's anti-Semitic. He made a mistake. We understand from an outside perspective how important sensitivity is to not condone hate speech and not condone anything of that nature. We don't stand up for somebody in order to not condemn hate speech, but I don't believe Kyrie Irving is anti-Semitic. And hopefully the NBA feels the same way. Shout out to Jaylen Brown for that, man. They're trying to appeal his suspension, and good for them, you know. Jay Williams as well has came out, stuck his neck out there, not on set. God only knows what would have happened to him on set. But shout out to Jay Williams, man. He's earned a hell of a lot of respect from me, and I think most people in general, when people are actually standing up for what's right. He came out there and said everything that was needed to be said. Shout out to Jay Williams, man. I mean, he did say that he could possibly lose deals and his job, and it's just terrible, man. It's terrible times that we live in. I think this is eye-opening, to say the least, with everything that's going on with Kyrie Irving. I don't see them doing any of these things. I remember a time where players were protesting a game, where they were kneeling before games. A game. And it was made such a big deal. And now, what happens now when it's the other way around? They just protest your bank account. They just protest your livelihood. It's crazy. Crazy to think about. But listen, man, shout out to Jaylen Brown, man. I'm so disappointed in dudes like Shaq and LeBron and all these dudes that came out and been kind of just threw Kyrie under the bus. I actually seen them bring a rabbi up to ESPN. This is unheard of. I've never heard of this. We've never seen this. A rabbi? When have they ever brought any leader up on ESPN for anything? An intellectual, anybody? Or better yet, why haven't they brought the author or the director of this movie up there? It is a debate show, isn't it? Why won't they bring this man up there to debate and dispute and refute the facts? Why won't they do that? But instead, they'll try to silence him and paint this narrative that someone is an anti-Semite. It's crazy, man. They try to silence people, and I think it's just terrible. Terrible times that we live in. I'm glad that Jay Williams brought up people like Brett Favre. They've had more energy and smoke towards Kyrie for posting a link to a historical documentary than Brett Favre actually going out there and stealing money from poor people. Make this make sense. Somebody, please. I don't want to spend too much long on this. Stephen A. is just a clown, man. He's a hypocrite. You can't criticize a man for 2 years straight and then throw your hands up and say, "Oh Lord, it's too harsh. It's too harsh of a punishment." You are the reason that they are punishing him so harsh. Or one of the reasons. I can't say he's solely the reason, but he's definitely one of the reasons. I can't believe this. I don't want to spend too much longer on this. You guys get down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this. I appreciate everybody for watching these videos. And with that being said, I hope everybody out there stays focused, stays prosperous, and stays locked in.